What's going on, guys? This is Michael Jones, better known as Iceberg from the QuantVue Discord community. And what I wanted to do is bring another educational video for you guys, whether you trade NAS 100, S&P 500, better known as ES, crude oil, gold futures, whatever the instrument of choice that you trade. I wanted to highlight something that I've had difficulties with. And what I wanted to do was to highlight exactly what those moments look like in trades. And if you've had issues with them as well, maybe this video will be the one that will help you maximize trades longer. And what I wanted to discuss in specifics was pullbacks, right? Being able to identify when a trade that you're in is merely pulling back before continuing to go in the direction that you desire it to go to, or if you're seeing a result where that specific trade, um, for the most part, is over and you need to either get out or get into a reversal position, right? So I'm going to take a couple of opportunities that occurred on December 6th, 2024, this last Friday, and just going to highlight some moments here. So this is literally at about, for this first example, just a few minutes after market open, right? So as you can see here, there's a great buy opportunity, and I got to review the remaining parts of the trading day for that whole period. But this probably was going to be the trade of the day because of how high and how long it went for um, roughly about 30 minutes or so. So I'm gonna show the high, or the not the high, but the moment that you should have gotten in according to Q line as well as Q cloud, and the moment that you should have gotten out. And as you can see, there was about a 108 point opportunity, right? From 21,500 to 21,608 is when you got buy Q line here, and is when you got sell Q line here, right? But as you can see throughout this trade, I'm going to move it into the center. You had one, two, three, four, five distinctive pullbacks with Q Cloud, um, six here, seven here, and then even a couple of wrinkles, couple wrinkles here, right? So looking at this trade, like, it's awesome, right? And if you're just, you know, robotic, no emotion, you would stay in through all of this until you get to the point where it gives you the indication to leave. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see. And I'm also going to make some zones so you can see exactly what, when I take trades, just scared me, and probably would scare you as well, taking these opportunities, especially with the speed of how the market can go, right? So I want to highlight this one first. So from 21,500 to 21,520, that's a 20 point opportunity, right? Um, and I'm gonna do a lot of adding and removing, so just bear with me. But I just want to kind of give you guys an example of what the trades would look like in the process. As you can see here, we peak initially at about 21,520, and then we experience a pullback. Now, not enough to make cloud bearish. You can, if you can see it briefly here, but it does pull back, and you can count the wrinkles till about here. So pulls back about 10 points, right? So you gain 20, you lose 10. And gonna erase this. And if it's messy, I do apologize, but I just want to make the kind of the overall point of what we are going for here. So a 10 point pullback, everything is still green. It's just kind of the nature of trading, right? People probably taking their profits here, comes down a little bit, but there's not enough pressure downward to continue going downward. So we continue to go upward. And then we get here to about 518. And then we have a wrinkle that pushes down to 514. So another 4 point pullback. And then we keep going, right? So let's just go to kind of a meteor one here. So at about 532, we peak. And this is where we start to get pressure, not just with the wrinkles, but with Q cloud, right? As you can see, all of this green turns red. And from 532 to 518, right? So that's 32, 22, 18, what, a 14-point pullback, right? Now, initially we start at 500. So, you know, the trade is still amazing. If you held from here to here, it's technically 18 points. The overall point I'm trying to make is that all of these pullbacks that you're seeing, even with this one and even this one going under Q line, is not enough to make your opportunity that was originally buy Q line switch to sell Q line. So uh, this was a 14 one. I want to go here, a peak at 540 and goes down to about 523. So 23, 33, 43. So a 17-point pullback, right? So I guess overall what I'm trying to say is that when you're taking your trade opportunities, um, how much leveraged are you in, right? So I want to give an example. If you're doing, I preach now to trade micros until you have accounts that give you tens, 20, $50,000, even $100,000 of leverage, so you can withstand what a trade would look like if you're doing minis. But I just want to give an example. Let's say you have a 50K account and you take a two mini contract, which gives you about $40 a point. 40 times 17 is $680, right? Can you Are you able to withstand a $680 pullback? Or if you're doing, there are times when I was extremely in sync where I dared to do like a five mini contract, and five mini gives you $100 a point. 100 times 17 is $1,700. Do you have the account to withstand $1,700? So I guess the point I'm trying to make is like if you're taking opportunities that, in order to get to, and let me get rid of that because I don't need that anymore. If you're willing to get to glory that gives you a 108-point trade, you know, this is very possible to do, but we have to be able to withstand moments that don't make QuantVue system tell you to switch. This didn't do it. This is a, if I remember correctly, this is a 10-point drop. Actually, I cannot guess. I can just look at the math. 532 to 519, 19, 29. So about a 13-point drop. This is about a 14 or 17-point drop. All of these drops or pullbacks eventually get us here, right? Like all of this pressure is not enough to push these bull moments away. And of course, all of these diamonds from Moneyball are a additional confluence of that. All of momentum, even though we have several different red dots, for the most part, we didn't get under the neutral point. We stayed up and kind of seesawed our way up constantly if you're looking at momentum, right? So, um, let's say you chose to do, a four in Q on this contract, right? Which gives you about $8 a point, and eight times 108. That's going to give you about $864, which is amazing. And not to mention, if you decide to use, Q Grid, which is an amazing add-on position, it also is telling you every pullback that's worth adding onto this position. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different opportunities to add onto the bottom of these pullbacks, right? So it like the system is giving you like amazing opportunity to handle these pullbacks, but the broader point is that if you don't over leverage yourself or come in heavy, you're right about the direction, right? Like we all can are reading concomitant, right? So this tells us we're going to go up, so we take a buy, and we're right. And we're not wrong when this happens. It's just natural order of how the market goes. It pulls back and then it comes up and then pulls down and it comes up and pulls down and then comes up, pulls down and then comes up, et cetera, until we get to here or we sell. A lot of the issues that most, and I would even include myself as traders have, is that if you're coming in heavy, you get to this point and you get a 20-point opportunity and this starts to go down, you get scared because you don't want to lose what you started because you came in heavy. But if you come in light to where you don't mind seeing a 10-point pullback before it comes up, or a 5-point pullback before it comes up, or a 13-point pullback before it comes up, then you have a greater chance of being able to get 50-point moves, 70-point moves, 30-point moves, 100-point moves, right? Like it literally, like it's whatever you see here on this is possible. And it's not the issue for, manual traders, primarily us. We're scared of these little pullbacks, but we're not having complete trust in the system, right? Like, Q line is primarily a trend trading design. So like these moves that goes 100 points up, it didn't tell you at any point to go away from this, right? And so that's how you have, the best opportunity possible to get large moves. Like if you have the time, like if you had from market open, if you had 30 minutes to 40 minutes, you would have caught all of this as long as you allowed your if you didn't come in heavy to where your threshold is potentially threatened by pullbacks or a late entry in a pullback, with a 4 MNQ opportunity, you would have made $864. With a 5 MNQ opportunity, you would have made about $1,000. And if you have Apex or Top Step or Tradeify, all of those, companies that allow you to have multiple accounts and you copy trade, you multiply that. Apex gives you 20 accounts, Top Tip give you 5. I think Tradeify gives you 7 or 11. I know Bullnex gives you 11. So the point I'm making is that, with micros, it gives you great opportunity, but specifically recognizing that, these pullbacks, especially when you're 20 points in or 40 points in or 60 points in or even right here 80, 90 points in, you can keep going for, the glory, because any of these pullback opportunities are not enough to get the system change. And it literally didn't change for this specific trade until about 10:05, right? So that was one opportunity. Want to see if I can show another here for you. Okay, yeah, I saw this one when I was preparing for this video. So this is a good one as well. So sell opportunity at about just 11 a.m. Q line happened shortly after the line, so probably at about 21,622. And let's get rid of that because we don't need that. So 21,622. And from 21,622, we come down to about 21,600. So this is very similar to the first one I showed you, right? About another 20-point opportunity. But what happens? The natural order of things happens. There's pullbacks. Why are there pullbacks? People are probably taking profit. People probably getting stopped out, whatever, right? But it goes from 21,600 to about 21,614. So now your initial 20-point opportunity has become 8, which 8 points is still amazing, right? But again, what is the important factor? Q line never switched back to buy, and we have proof of that with Moneyball still being fully formed, even though this system, well, not the system, but um, price movement pulled back about 8 points. And you can see momentum is still going to the downside. So it's just letting you know that the natural order of things is just coming up. Q line or Q cloud rather is starting to form, but it doesn't. So after we peak at about 614 going up, we push massively down to the downside again to about 21. We peak at about 21,576, right? So a 21,622 to 576, that's a 46-point opportunity. You take five micros and times about 46 points, that just gives you just under $368. And again, that's just off that trade opportunity alone. If you did a Q grid bear, or Q grid rather, as you can see, Q grid identified that this wasn't gonna shift higher. So it gives you the alert when we peak here to add on to the position, right? So, um, and then again, when we hit 576, and then we went to 586, or probably even 588, is when you get the buy Q line opportunity, and that lets you know to get out, right? So, like, it's showing you the system there. Primarily, it just takes us having the discipline and trust to be willing to, I don't want to say give up points, but to try to see the full trades through, right? Like, this opportunity going from here to here is great, but here to here obviously is better. How do you get there? Well, it's recognizing that these pullbacks are not a shift in, um, getting another alert for Q line, right? If this would have been a bull Q line, this alert would have happened here when it started to push up further, but it didn't because the system recognized that this temporary pullback eventually pushed us all the way down. And then this same, not even pullback, but shift in buying pressure is when we got a Q line buy, and recognizing that you need to either reverse your position if you want to get in on the buy or to get out on the opportunity. Let's see. Let's take one more before we call the video here. So, okay, yeah. So this is a great example, and this is one probably that probably would test your faith the most, right? Because it looks like we darn near would have broke even, but I'll explain how this looks in a moment. So this is about at 1:30 p.m. On Friday, right? So we got a sell Q line alert, probably at about 21,656, and we begin to push down to the downside to about 640. So about 16 points before we begin to pull up. Now we begin to pull up here, come down a bit here. But I would say probably the scary part for anyone who took this trade, if you're trying to hold, or the pressure of it, is that we get a lot of Q Cloud, even Moneyball, and we technically get above our entry here. And I would even, I'm not even going to say I wouldn't. This probably would have made me want to get out if I didn't get out when this happened, because we started at our entry and now it's going against us. And you've given up essentially about 16 points. But again, what happens? Well, our consolidation zone indicator here, which is a just a standard indicator, not QuantVue affiliated, just identifies when things are sideways. So we begin to kind of slush around in this area, right? And what happens? Again, sell Q line never changed. We still are in a bearish environment, even with momentum obviously pushing up, Moneyball, Diamond pushing up. The trend of Q line never changed. And eventually, our peak, which was at about 16 points, we began to sell down to about 620, or at about just over 35 points. Right. Again, so just having faith and trust in the indicators, we pull up a little bit, not enough for Q line to change before we peak at about 614. Again, which is I don't want to guess here. My math isn't that good, so let me just do the math real quickly. 614. So about a 42-point move. This move starting here, and it took from about 134 to about 215. So this also just requires patience as well, right? Before this ended, and then we got above Q line, but more importantly, the system recognized that we were no longer in a bearish environment for where price was, and then it's letting you know to get out or reverse the position. So just a few different opportunities I wanted to show regarding pullback, what that looks like, and how pullbacks um, are different from an opportunity switching from bear to bull or bull to bear. Um, I hope this helps with everyone who has issue with seeing an entry go against you because you're thinking it's literally gonna reverse um, from an entry that QuantVue calls. And again, we just have to have faith and trust in the system, right? System will give you all of the tools that you need, but it's just us to manage our discipline, to manage our emotion, and to execute. Um, the link for this specific chart is in QuantVue's Discord under Pro Charts. But specifically for Q line, if you want to know what that setting is, I just have it set to Q line length at 39, Q line multiplier at 3, and I have the volume um, uh, changed on. But you can fluctuate with how you want that to look. It just really just uh, depends on how you trade, if you want to keep that on or keep that off or not. So I hope this was very helpful for you guys. This video of just understanding what pullbacks look like, being able to have higher or greater opportunities in the market, so you can catch big moves like this without having these type of moments scare you. These several different pullbacks here, 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 and here, and just going through this helps me as well because there have been many times where I've had opportunity and 15, 20, 30 points in, and the excitement of having a large opportunity. I don't want to say it scares me, but I get out and it could have been longer if I'm willing to risk what a natural pullback would be like, just so I can continue to get to a higher point in the trade. So, again, my name is Michael Jones from QuantVue's Discord, better known as Iceberg. It's always a pleasure to make these videos for you guys to see. And always, if there's any questions that you guys have about it, you always can, of course, respond in the comment section of where it will be placed, which is YouTube. And you can also find myself as well as the tens of thousands of members that are in the QuantView Discord. It's growing every day. Very healthy community of everyone that's willing to answer comments or questions that ultimately will help all of us become consistent and profitable traders, whether we're trading evaluation accounts, performance accounts, or if you're using your own live funds. Again, my name is Michael Jones from QuantView's Discord. Great talking to you all. Look forward to talking with you on the next video. Take care.